The Nintendo Switch Pro has been canceled? Let's talk about it a bit. So this is according to Digital Foundry. There has been an article that has been revealed that they talked a little bit about the Nintendo Switch and its sales and how, going forward with Nintendo, we don't know where they're going to go because of the success of the Switch is so successful and the Wii U was not successful at all, and the Switch is doing so well. But let me read this article. It says, a so-called Nintendo Switch Pro has been discussed for a long time now, though with nothing concrete to prove its existence. There has been a lot of reports and circumstantial evidence to suggest that there certainly was a Switch Pro in development at one point, but it's a lot of smoke without fire. It's been a while since something more concrete has appeared regarding its fate. But now we finally have something thanks to the Digital Foundry Direct weekly podcast. According to John Lineman, citing several developers, there seemed to be a mid-generation Nintendo Switch update in the works that was eventually canceled. The reason this is interesting is that the number of leaks and rumors purporting for there to be a Switch Pro came to a head roughly a year ago. Since then, we haven't heard much at all, and the Nintendo Switch has some aging hardware with the NVIDIA Tegra X1 SoC from 2015. Digital Foundry is well regarded for its in-depth testing and is understood to have well-placed industry sources. For example, Digital Foundry was the first to leak that the Switch would have an NVIDIA Tegra X1 SoC, and it also confirmed ahead of its release that the device would have different clock speeds when docked versus undocked. Part of the reason for its cancellation, Linneman speculates, is that the Nintendo is worried about having another GameCube or Wii U situation on its hands. While both consoles were enjoyable, they faced terrible sale figures after massively successful consoles. The GameCube sold poorly, then was succeeded by the Wii, which one of the most successful game consoles of all time. Going from that to the Wii U, which just sold over 13 million consoles, and then to the Nintendo Switch, shows that currently the company seems to only succeed in every second generation. It makes sense that there's some weirdness in the Nintendo camp though. The Switch OLED, while a beautiful console with a great screen, doesn't have much else by the way of upgrades, as well as Genshin Impact was once previously announced for the Nintendo Switch in January 2021 and since then has disappeared into thin air. MiHoYo, the game's developer, refutes that it's canceled as well, as the company's global PR specialist reaffirmed in May it was still committed to its launch. It could well be the case that it was being developed for a Switch Pro, given that the game is pretty resource intensive, but that's purely speculation. Nevertheless, it's interesting to get a bit of insight into what may or may not be happening behind closed doors at Nintendo. Linneman states that he doesn't expect there to be any kind of Switch successor in 2023, potentially giving the current generation another year of being the flagship Nintendo console being a successor before a successor comes along. Okay, so my opinion on this really is just, I personally don't think that a Switch Pro or whatever, Switch 2, or it wouldn't be called either one of those, I guarantee it. But whatever it would be called, I don't think that this Switch successor personally would be coming in 2023. I have believed this. I don't believe that a new one would come out with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I do not believe it at all. I know the Switch came out with Breath of the Wild when it was released, but I do not believe with Tears of the Kingdom we are getting a new Switch. I think 2024 sounds like a good year. I know normally they do like a Switch every 2 years. We had the Nintendo Switch, then we had the Switch Lite 2 years after that, and then the Switch OLED 2 years after that. So next year would be 2 years since the OLED has released. But I personally do not think that the Nintendo Switch 2.0 or whatever is coming yet. I am curious. Digital Foundry says that they've canceled working on it, but I feel like Nintendo is thinking business-wise what they're going to do next, and I feel like there's going to be better hardware in the future for sure. Not 2023, I'm hoping 2024, by 2025 for sure. Nintendo has to have new hardware out there at some point because of hardware keeps on advancing, and you look at things such as Pokemon, Granted, that was not a hardware issue, but still, the console does need better hardware. I mean, it can't even run 60 frames. It can't run 4K on your 4K TVs in docked mode. So there's a lot of upgrades necessary for the Nintendo Switch in the future, but we don't know exactly when that might be. Hopefully soon. Hopefully we get something, at least news in 2023 that something's being worked on, because there was news before that Nintendo was thinking of what they were working on next, but they're also unsure just because the Nintendo Switch is such a successful console. It's a major successor to the Wii U. I mean, the Wii U was a disaster. It only sold 13 million units, whereas the Nintendo Switch has sold 114 million units and is the third best-selling Nintendo console right now of all time. Will it ever pass the Wii? I don't know. The Wii has sold 154 million units. But that being said, I want to know what you guys think on this. Do you think that there is a Switch Pro still in the works? Do you think Nintendo has given up on that and are re-strategizing what they want to do next because the Nintendo Switch is selling so well and is so successful? I personally believe that they are having meetings on this and thinking of what they are doing. Maybe they are working on new hardware, but my idea is just stick with the Switch plan, you know, and just advance the tech. It's that simple. Call it a Nintendo Switch something and just advance the tech, you know, give us a bigger Switch. It might be a little more bulky due to the tech in it, but one that will dock and that you can take everywhere in handheld mode. You know, you look at the Steam Deck, for example, that's a little bit bigger and bulkier than the Nintendo Switch, and it's fantastic. I don't have one, but I know it's fantastic. It's a great handheld system, and I think that that Nintendo can absolutely do something similar, just as long as we can dock it and play it on the TV as well, just like the regular Switch, and I think it will succeed just fine. They're probably just rethinking what they want to do. I don't think that they should do a new console that is not like the Switch. It's got to be something that's both docked and handheld, because it works. It just works for Nintendo. It is the best decision Nintendo ever made, was to do a system that was so unique that you could play it both on your TV and on the go, because it made the 3DS become irrelevant, and it made the Wii U obviously become irrelevant because it was its successor. But the 3DS now has become irrelevant. I mean, it's relevant, but you get what I mean. The games, there's no more games for it. So anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the Nintendo Switch Pro, or just the Switch in general. Let me know what you guys think they should do next. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Later.